This day in sports history. This episode is brought to you by the Stirling Soap Company. I'm a big fan of shave soap. I've been using different brands for years, and I recently gave Stirling's shave soaps a try, and I've been very happy with the results. Stirling's shave soaps give you a great lather and a frictionless feel that allows the razor to glide right over the skin for a super close shave. No skin irritation and a clean, refreshing feel with no soapy residue after. I can tell you without a doubt, it's simply the best shave I've ever had. And my wife has noticed too. And here's the thing. With the ability to purchase 1-ounce sample pucks, you can try out different scents to find the right one for you. Give Stirling Soap a try today. Visit stirlingsoap.com. That's STIRLING soap.com. Well, hey, and welcome back to another edition of This Day in Sports History. This is your grateful host, Steve White, ready to go on another journey around the sports history calendar. It is November 2nd, and on this day, we had the first game of the century. The Cubs broke a centuries-old curse, and an NBA scoreboard nearly blew a fuse. Also, William Shakespeare figures pretty prominently in today's episode, including a fact at the end about the bard. So stick around. This is going to be a fun one. Let's start with what happened on this day back in 1935 when the Notre Dame Fighting Irish had to engineer a fourth-quarter comeback. And who better to author the poetic prose than a man by the name of Bill Shakespeare? If the original Bill Shakespeare had put quill to parchment, he might have written about this game, "Shall I compare thee to a football game? Thou art more savage and filled with treachery. Forward passes for Notre Dame led to a win in the first game of the century. Leyden to Pilney, Pilney to Fromhart, the Irish though did trail, until the Bard of Staten Island passed, and the Irish did prevail." Ah, a nice sonnet. Good for the soul, right? Anyway, to set this one up, Notre Dame was on the road in Columbus, taking on the Buckeyes on this day. This was a battle of unbeatens in 1935, and it was the first game of the 20th century to have the label Game of the Century lashed to it. The Irish were 5-0 coming in and one of the top teams in the country. Ohio State was 4-0, and they had been outscoring their opponents by about 35 points a game that season. This was a defensive game, though. Late in the fourth quarter, Ohio State led 13-6. Notre Dame's Andy Pilney was Mr. Everything for the Irish. He was on the receiving end of one pass, then he tossed a bomb to Wally Fromhart to set up a short pass to make it a 13-12 Buckeyes lead with less than 2 minutes left in the ballgame. But Fromhart missed the PAT, and the Irish felt their chance slip away. Even more so when Ohio State recovered the ensuing onside kick. But Pilney figured into the mix again when he hit Ohio State running back Dick Belts hard enough to force a fumble that Notre Dame recovered. Pilney went back to work on the offensive end with a spectacular play. Here's newsreel footage about the game narrated by Clem McCarthy, a voice that may sound familiar if you listened to yesterday's episode.
With only a minute to play and Notre Dame still behind by a single point. Pilney gets away for a beautiful run. On this play, Pilney was hurt and forced from the game by hard tackling.
So you heard that Pilney got injured on that play, and he was hurt so badly that he did not play in the final 3 games for the Irish that year, which sorely affected them down the stretch. Enter Bill Shakespeare. Well, actually, he played in this one a good bit, but the offense the Irish ran put several different players in position to throw the football. Shakespeare threw a beauty, though. Here's Clem McCarthy again with the call of the winner.
40 seconds to go. Bill Shakespeare fades back behind perfect blocking. Heaves along forward into the end zone. Milner's got it. Notre Dame's winning touchdown.
Notre Dame scored twice in the final 2 minutes to win 18-13. But without Pilney the rest of the way, the Irish faltered, losing to Northwestern the following week and then tying Army the week after that. But in the 20th century's first game of the century, Bill Shakespeare wrote a perfect ending. Looking for that perfect gift for the basketball fan in your life? Basketball Now is it. Newly updated for 2025, it spotlights 50 of the NBA's top stars. Think fast breaks, clutch threes, and buzzer beaters, captured in stunning photography with sharp, readable analysis. From rising stars to veteran icons, this book is a courtside pass to the game right now. Wrap up a slam dunk this holiday season. Pick up your copy of Basketball Now today at your favorite bookseller. On this day in 2016, the Chicago Cubs finally ended their World Series drought and in the process ended their Billy Goat curse. Game 7 of the 2016 World Series between the Cleveland Indians and the Cubs is one of the greatest Game 7s in World Series history. And this one had a little bit of everything: extra innings, late-game heroics, a rain delay, and of course, the lovable Cubs with a 108-year drought of not winning a World Series ended. The Cubs had fought their way back into this series after trailing 3-1. They came back to win games 5 and 6 to even the series up. Game 7 was played in Cleveland. Chicago had a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 8th, but Cleveland's Brandon Guyer hit an RBI double off of newly inserted reliever Aroldis Chapman. Ray J. Davis followed that up with a 2-run homer to tie the game at 6. As Cubs fans watched that ball disappear into the left field seats, memories of all the years past must have come flooding back. So, tied after 8, the Cubs had a chance to take the lead back in the 9th, but stranded Jason Hayward at 3rd. Chapman retired the Indians in order in the bottom half, and this game headed to extras. But Chapman was crushed, having given up the 3-run advantage, and that's when the rain came. The game was paused for 17 minutes, and during that time, Hayward gathered his Chicago teammates in the weight room and told them, "We're the best team in baseball for a reason. Stick together, and we're going to win this game." The Cubs' Anthony Rizzo called the rain delay and the subsequent speech by J-Hay the most important moment for the Cubs in the past 100 years. Play resumed in the top of the 10th, and Kyle Schwarber singled to lead off the inning, and then was replaced on the base path by Albert Almora. A deep fly to the warning track in center allowed Almora to tag up, and it was actually a pretty savvy base running maneuver. A ball hit that deep, usually the first thought is it's off the wall and a guy from first with some speed has a chance to score. But Almora did some quick calculus in his head and realized he needed to tag up. That extra base proved important, but what it also did was open up first base. The Indians chose to intentionally walk Rizzo, bringing Ben Zobrist, who was 0 for 4 in the game up to that point, to the plate.
Zobrist, that's a base hit! Cubs will take the lead! Almora digging to the plate! Zobrist delivers 7-6 in the 10th.
After another intentional walk, Miguel Montero came to the plate. Now, Montero was hitting a paltry .091 in the postseason. But he slapped one into left with a drawn-in infield, and the Cubs took a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 10th. The Indians got one back in the bottom half, but Joe Madden rolled the dice and brought in pitcher Mike Montgomery, who had 0 career saves to get the final out.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series! Bryant makes the play! It's over! And the Cubs have finally won it all! 8-7-10.
Zobrist was named Series MVP for his hitting and his late-game heroics in this one. With the Cubs breaking their 108-year drought, that left the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians, with the most prolonged period since their last World Series title, standing now at 77 years and counting. On this day in 1990, the Denver Nuggets and Golden State Warriors played a wild one. Denver had a new coach in Paul Westhead, and if you know the name, then you know he is synonymous with run and gun. He'd coached that style in LA with the Lakers and in college at Loyola Marymount. Well, even with veterans like 31-year-old Orlando Woolridge and 36-year-old Walter Davis, he was ready to take his quick pace up and down the floor action to the Mile High City. For the Warriors, this was the Run TMC era, playing off of the rap trio name. Run TMC consisted of Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. And as their name implied, they liked to run too. It was a perfect mixture for high-octane offense. By the end of the first half, the Warriors led 87-83. They slowed down a little bit in the second half, but when the horn sounded to end it after 48 minutes, Golden State had put up 162 points to Denver's 158. The combined 320 points in the game is the most in a non-overtime NBA game. Mullin, Richmond, and Hardaway combined for 72 points. Woolridge led all scorers with 37, and Davis came off the bench to tally 33. Interestingly, the Nuggets came within a few points of besting that record in the first 10 games of the season. A 173-143 blowout loss to the Suns was within 4 points, and a 161-153 loss to San Antonio missed the mark by just 6. Despite only winning 20 games that year, the Nuggets must have been a really fun team to watch. On this day in 2002, a celebration led to a rule change in the English Premier League. Manchester United was playing against Southampton on this day, with the game tied 1-1. Sir Alex Ferguson was looking for a little energy to be injected into the game, and he brought Diego Forlan on as a second-half substitution. He'd scored in the previous Man U match, breaking a 9-month scoring drought, so maybe he had another one in him. And he did. Forlan got the ball on his left foot, took one dribble, and then ripped the shot with his right just outside the 18. The ball curled into the upper right corner, and the Uruguayan went into celebration mode, ripping off his shirt, waving it around, and running to the corner to celebrate with Man U fans. Now, if a player does that, it's a yellow card, and the reason that's now a yellow is what happened next. Forlan had trouble putting his shirt back on. He was still shirtless when Southampton kicked off, and he was running around the pitch holding on to his jersey. It took a few minutes before he could actually get dressed again. Well, the killjoys at FIFA did not like that one bit, and as the governing body issued a ruling that any player who removes their shirt as a goal celebration would receive a yellow card henceforth. Man U held on for the 2-1 win. And on this day in 1988, a Spanish-speaking radio station in San Francisco reported that boxer Mike Tyson had died in a car accident. Now, this is at the height of Mike Tyson mania. He was fresh off his heavyweight title bout victory over Michael Spinks back in June. The story shocked listeners, and it sent the media scrambling to find details of the tragedy. It took a little while, but it was soon discovered that this was a bizarre hoax on Mexico's version of April Fool's Day. A couple of writers tracked down a still alive and well Tyson enjoying lunch at the hotel at which he was staying. And since we mentioned Notre Dame's Bill Shakespeare earlier in the show, how about I finish off today's episode with my "That's got nothing to do with sports" fun fact about the other one. The original William Shakespeare was concerned that somebody would steal his bones after he was laid to rest, so he had a curse put on his tombstone. It reads, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones." Apparently, it had zero effect. Ground-penetrating radar scans done about 10 years ago showed that his head was missing from his grave, and instead of his bones being in a coffin, the scans also revealed that his body is wrapped in cloth, buried in a shallow grave beneath the tombstone. That's all I've got for you today. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of This Day in Sports History. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.